Greetings everyone. In this video I want to talk about your choices. Your choices.
Greetings! This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
Now, following just having spoken the last video about discouragement, I'm going to talk about choices in this video. Your choices directly affect your game experience, from the most significant to the least significant. Now, you have choices when you're young to be a rebel or to be obedient to parents. You have choices of the path that you choose to go, whether you follow a certain path for a certain career choice, and whether your parents are influencing you or your peers are influencing your choice because they're saying you should do this or you should do that. Choices that set the beginning of your path, your career path, and your life in a certain way. Now, along with that career path comes relationship choices. Who your friends are. How do you select your friends? What do you share in common? Do you allow those people to influence your choices? Do you do things simply because they're doing them, not really because it's who you are or what you want to do, but you do it because you enjoy their company, and if you didn't, then you would be excluded from their group. These are choices. Choices about relationships, who you are going to be potentially intimately involved with if you're going to get married. Choices, where you're going to live, what city, what state, what country, how you live your life, whether you choose to live your life in debt above your means or to live within your means and be debt-free. These are all choices. Do you pick your car because it's a status symbol and so you want to drive a certain car because of that status symbol, or are you simply happy with having a nice car? Now, in some cases, business cases, you may need some of the appearances, but you should never spend more than you're making. Don't go into debt for the appearance of being well off. Choices. Choices about the foods you eat. Choices about the length of your hair. Choices. Now, men, if you're allowing your hair to grow and it has some length and you're in a professional field, well, you need to look groomed. All right? That doesn't mean letting your hair all straggly and oily and hanging down. Slick it back, put it in a ponytail in the back so the people looking at you face to face aren't distracted by your hair in cultures where that's not norm for a man. This goes for every source player. You should be taking care of your body. You shouldn't be stinking. You should have good bodily hygiene and grooming. Taking care of your body is also a frequency issue. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to have a six-pack and be... I'm just talking about general hygiene and grooming. Your hair is brushed. You're groomed. Your clothes are clean. If you are dependent upon sales and you're dependent upon interacting with other people for things versus being behind a computer where nobody ever sees you, and you're doing your business online, or you're doing it behind the scenes where you're not interacting with people. Well, the point here is does the people that you do interact with, what would they think if they're around you? Do you stink? Do you look unkempt? Do you act like a jerk to other people? How would you respond to yourself? Or how would you react to yourself? You need to be aware, because if you are unkempt and you're not keeping yourself bathed and groomed, that's a frequency issue also. And it's not a high frequency issue. Your choices affect, even the small ones, affect your journey and how the matrix reads you and what frequency you can be on based on your mind traits, what your thinking is, your actions, what you're putting in your body, how you're taking care of your body. All of these things. They're all choices. Now, if you are serious about it, you can trace most every difficulty that you're experiencing in your game to some decision that you made at some point in time. So, if you're having marital difficulties, well, you step back and you say, well, marital difficulties in that marriage is directly related to the fact that the person that you chose to get married to start with. But then after that, those choices are based on, do you know that something pushes somebody else's buttons and you continue to do it? All right, case in point. A guy leaves the toilet seat up. He knows that it annoys his wife. He's not good about his aim or that type of stuff, and it irritates her, or doesn't flush the toilet. And it irritates his wife. Cause, effect. And you notice that every time you do that, there's a pattern there. Well, that person reacts a certain way to you because when you do this, they do that, okay? It doesn't take long to figure out what's going on there. Choices. Now, if you live alone, you can do whatever you want. Your choices within your home life experience don't affect anyone else. Unless your choices flow over into your job and your responsibilities in work, something that you're being paid for, where there are expectations of you, you must act in a certain way, you must behave in a certain way, then those things will affect your choices, will potentially affect that area of your life. But it's a long script. It starts from the very, very beginning to the choices that you make, to the type of character that you build, whether you are rebellious, whether you are you just you don't care about anybody or anything, and you don't respect life, and all of these things, these choices that you make can be influenced by the family that you grow up in, but it can also be influenced by, well, at the deepest part of you, that's who you are, and that's the way you want to act. You have been programmed by your culture, by your society, by your parents, by your peers, by school, by government, by everything. Throughout your entire life, you have been programmed within your script by primarily your parents. But your parents are programmed by the society, the culture, the religion, whatever it is, all of these things, government, all of these things work into the programming. That is the matrix structure. The matrix structure is to control and direct your mind. And the matrix has done an excellent job of it. However, the matrix also has to disclose itself, show itself, let you know that you are within a game, and give you clues to wake you up. Now, most of you that are watching this have gotten the clues and you have woke up. Now, what are you going to do with waking up? The information is on this channel of what you need to do to continue the journey, to raise the frequency. The matrix tells you with food pyramid, you need meat to live. Well, no, you don't need meat to live. It's death. And death consumed by a source player is death to that source player's connection and game, keeping them in the lower frequency zone. These are all choices. Most source players makes choices based on the culture, based on society, based on what feels good to them. And they stay asleep. Never looking, never searching, never desiring something more. Or they desire something more, but they're not willing to contemplate the cost of that something more and that connection. It's a choice to be married. It's a choice to have children. It's a choice of your lifestyle. Now, if you have a pet, that's a choice. Well, along with that choice comes responsibilities, whether it's a pet or a child or one or thing living, then it comes with a responsibility. So those choices have direct effects down your path in life. Now, because you make a choice and you marry someone and the relationship falls apart because the choice was made out of not really compatibilities or frequency issues, it's driven by sexual fulfillment and what that person does for maybe one or both person's status or whatever the reason was. And it wasn't really thought through. And then people don't stay the same. They change. You change. Source players change. The matrix soulless ones, the programs, they change. And in many cases, changes are there to stir you up and move you to do something. Because if you're sitting and you're coasting along on autopilot, that's not beneficial to you in this game. Absolutely not beneficial to you to sit and coast along on autopilot. But the matrix won't mind for you to do that, because the matrix wins if you do that. That's why so many source players were nowhere near where they needed to be at this point in time. But you are where you need to be. But you need to keep going down the path. You need to keep climbing the frequency ladder. You need to complete your inner alchemy and visualization. Now, inner alchemy is not the end all be all of this game. Since the game has been won and the win has been shared, all you have to do is get your frequency rising. Stay out of the red zone. The first 4 levels of the game, stay out of those zones and keep yourself up, and you will complete the game well. Now, to win the game for yourself, you had to reach level 11 and complete inner alchemy and open the top of your soul cage to tap into all of your energies and basically release yourself. That is not required now. And many of you are looking at that's what you need. Well, I have put enough information about inner alchemy in the videos that are scattered through about what the inner alchemy is. And if you are of a high enough frequency, you will be able to get the rest of the information from your source self. You'll be able to get the rest of the information from your source self. You will know. The knowing will be within you, and you will be able to complete it yourself. No one was around to tell me how to complete it. I got the knowing from my source self. You can too. Be the match for it, and you will get it. Now, does it change your game having access and tapping into all of the energies, all of your energies, your source energies? Well, yes, it benefits you, but then you also have to learn and know how to use it, how to tap into it, how to use it. And that takes experience. There's no substitute for experience. And it starts by, even at the lower levels, using your intention and manifesting and creating things within your game experience, starting with the little things. And I've said that. Parking spots, jobs, doors opening for you, things to align for you to go down that path that you really want to go down, whether it's a business or whatever it is. All of this should be happening before you ever get to the inner alchemy and tapping into all of your energy. So then you can learn and experience using those energies. There is no easy button in this game. Each choice is a choice for a path that you're going down. And even some seemingly insignificant choices can make some pretty big changes in that path and how it goes. Get off autopilot and start directing your own life and your choices with intent. And start to see things manifest and happen in your life so you can experience the life that you desire to create, your best life yet. You can do this. If you appreciate the work that I've done in the Matrix and the information that I share in these videos, then it benefits you to say thank you with a gift via PayPal. The link is in the description box below. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you.